my fridge. Sorry about that. I'm going to read a couple lines from this poem. Dried maple and ash bark, lush emerald flats. The fall-colored arena hark, the wide superior mats. valley's peak encircled my life. The open space speaks. Let me end the strife.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. I'm going to do a quick stream today. My allergies are horrible, and I just feel fatigued. So, plus, there hasn't been a ton of change in the market. I do want to talk about a couple things that I wouldn't say are, like, concerning, but something you need to pay attention to. And then I really want to look at Bitcoin dominance, because Bitcoin dominance is giving us a really great sign at a potential, like, alt summer. I wouldn't necessarily call it alt season, but definitely some kind of alt move this summer. First things first, what's up, Steezy, Maddie Ridden, Peter X. What's up, O? Haven't heard this soundtrack. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I am just being lazy as shit. Today, my allergies are so bad. I woke up and sneezed like 50 times, and then I knew it was just going to be awful from there. I also, side note, put a tooth through my lip on Thursday. I was actually training, like nothing serious. It was just a freak accident. I actually was taking someone to the ground. And for those of you who don't know, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was taking someone to the ground, and my head just went into their elbow on the way down, and their elbow just hit me in the lip. Tooth went through my lip, and I've been on antibiotics just to avoid any kind of infection. It's almost completely healed, no big deal, but I'm assuming that's part of the kind of fatigue I'm feeling. Who knows? I know it's definitely a lot to do with allergies, but maybe some of that as well. I need to make an updated intro. Yeah, we gotta work on something. Like I said, just bad week for me. I'm so fatigued. Like, everyone's hitting me up about stuff, and I feel so bad because I'm just like, guys, I just want to sleep all day. Like, I'm sneezing, coughing, and it's just allergies. It's not like sickness for any of you guys that have allergies. I live in a very humid part, and just like this time of the year until about mid-June, it's just awful. But, we get through it. Right. Let's just kind of get this antibiotic side effects. Yeah, I figured that's some of it, but again, it's mostly allergies. Let's get into this. Just gonna cover some of the more important things we've been talking about over the last couple weeks. Again, I'm really excited to talk about Bitcoin dominance, and then kind of lean into alts. So, first things first, S&P 500. Guys, I hate to say this, and I'm going to tweet this after. I was actually making a tweet during the intro. But we have bearish divergences on this chart. Now, I understand it is slightly concerning. It is technically a sign of trend exhaustion, but I don't think this one sign is what's going to ruin us. Right, and just a quick example to fast forward. Bitcoin had the same kind of divergence, and we ended up just consolidating and moving higher. So if you can see here, we had equal highs, lower highs in RSI, or slightly higher highs, ending up just consolidating, moving sideways, creating bullish divergences here with equal lows at that point and lower lows here. So we ended up sorting out these divergences, then creating bullish divergences. The whole thing ended up being consolidation, and then we continued higher. So again, it's not the worst thing in the world to see divergences, but what it does mean is we're likely going to get a little bit of downside or at least some consolidation. I mean, I kind of have something like this drawn. It's not perfect, but I'm expecting at least a 6.5, maybe upwards of 10% correction. And again, what that would lead into is creating bullish divergences here, as we'd have lower lows on price, lower lows on RSI, higher lows in price, and then we'd sort out these bearish divergences with that kind of consolidation or correction. Now, what that means usually is crypto's not going to do much, right? Every market's kind of tied together. It's not perfect, but usually when the stock market's showing weakness, or at least the large equities, right, like SPX, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, are showing some weakness, generally it's a sign that crypto is going to also do the same. Now, I will give this. Crypto's been consolidating much longer than Bitcoin. And again, in my opinion, I think crypto's leading. I think that Bitcoin will pump before the SPX pumps again. I think mid-June, July, kind of the time frame for at least Ethereum and some of these alts to start moving. Maybe Bitcoin starts moving at the beginning of fall, late summer. Again, we're starting to see some kind of liquidity shift happening on Bitcoin dominance. So I can't be 100% certain that Bitcoin's going to do extremely well right now. Now, it's holding very well. It will probably outperform alts, at the end of the summer, beginning of the fall once again. But for now, I think some alts are going to move. I think that there's, this will consolidate, alts will do well. We'll get into that. Downside buying opportunities. So I don't think we're going to quote unquote crash. Like, again, zooming on Bitcoin, guys, we're just forming a gigantic range. Now, the unfortunate part with this is we originally called, this kind of inverted head and shoulders on the daily. If you've been following it, yes, we're technically holding it still, but I'll be honest with you, I expected this to continue moving upwards, and since it's not, it's starting to seem like we're just going to range. Plus, the volume, I don't think the volume is there to continue anyways. Volume's been pretty lackluster. I know we're moving sideways. If we do happen to break, the last resistance here with a lot of volume, then awesome, right? No problems with that. But in terms of this kind of setup, I'm unsure. Plus, you have all of these divergences on SPX. Again, in my opinion, Bitcoin, SPX, they've been running together for quite a while. And I can even pull that up for anybody that, if you need to see. I'm not sure why it's not coming up. All right, let's try this. There we go. So essentially, Bitcoin and SPX bottomed around the same time. Really, since then, we've been kind of following the same trend. Yes, Bitcoin moved way up. SPX moved down. Bitcoin consolidated. SPX started moving higher and higher. And now they're both kind of correcting at the same time. In real time, again, I think we're just going to range. Kind of amazing how these have both corrected. These have both corrected at the same time, kind of making these. Now, Bitcoin does not have divergence as SPX does, but that doesn't mean they don't just follow the same kind of trajectory. So, again, they've been running together. Definitely not perfect, but in the grand scheme of things, they've been running together. So, I'm expecting probably a range to form, sort these divergences. That'll probably give us a better opportunity to buy, or at least a better kind of reversal pattern to buy. And then we can, obviously ride that likely to 90, 100, 120,000. I know that sounds like a long shot for some of you, but the more you consolidate, the bigger the move. And the last time we had 100% correction, we corrected, 25%? We've corrected 20%. RSI is at a similar level. I'm expecting a big move. What's up, Yasser? How's it going, man? I'm doing good. At the beginning of the stream, I kind of was like, hey, my allergies are really bad, so I'm just tired trying to do a quick analysis. Honestly, I feel like kind of recharged. I really didn't want to stream today because you have to remember, no one wants to listen to a monotone person that's tired. So I got to pep it up. But I feel a little bit better. Definitely took some medicine this morning, but still, it's just one of those big allergy days. But isn't a bearish divergence, though, price going higher? Yeah, that's what we said. This is a bearish divergence on SPX. If I've been saying bullish divergence the whole time, my apologies. I meant bearish divergence. Like I said, the allergies are getting to me. My brain is just completely stupid today. So just to recap, just in case I said it, these are bearish divergences on the SPX. You have obviously RSI making lower highs as price is making higher highs here. Again, it's not the worst problem in the world, but you're likely going to get some downward movement, overall consolidation, creating bullish divergences to continue higher. DXY, so the dollar is pumping, ultimately a bounce off support. Not the biggest deal in the world. I have a thought that maybe we get a double top. Again, ultimately, we're just moving sideways in a huge range. And for those of you that don't think so, I have the thought that at some point this is going to continue higher. Again, we have lots of issues here in the U.S. We have a huge amount of credit card debt. We obviously have interest rates. The highest they've been for a while. I wouldn't say they're egregiously high, but the cost of living is also egregiously high, so it's making interest rates ridiculously high, or it seem ridiculously high since everything is so expensive. So with both of those said, something will eventually break. We'll likely get some kind of larger recession, depression issue. And, to be frank and forward with you, we could easily do something like this and make it a much larger range. So I wouldn't be too concerned if 107 breaks. Ultimately, I would like to see a much longer range, see this over maybe 1, 2, 3 years, and then we decide whether we're going to crash or not. No, I'm talking about Bitcoin divergence. No, there's bullish divergences on Bitcoin. Yeah, just real quick, and I know we're going to get to Bitcoin. There are no divergences on Bitcoin. There's actually bullish divergences on Bitcoin. You actually have higher lows here, and you have lower lows on RSI, and you actually don't have any bearish divergences because we've been creating higher highs the entire time. Yes, you could possibly argue that we have an equal high here, but if you didn't know this, RSI is actually based on the closes of the candle. So technically we have lower highs as we're creating lower highs. So this really isn't anything. We actually have bullish divergences that haven't done anything. So, we'll get into theories and stuff, but just kind of clearing the air with that. So again, DXY, I'm not really that concerned until we break 107, and realistically, I'm not too worried until we break 113. Because I'll be real with you, we could easily, bounce around here for a couple of years, and then see that much larger market crash, maybe in 2026 ish. It just depends. I'm not a genie, so I don't really know, but I do know we are at the tailwind of a 15-year-long bull run that, likely is going to sort itself. We've got a lot of politicians that are, lack of words, older than shit. And to be honest with you, I think they're trying to suck as much money out of the stock market as they can, so they don't want to crash it yet. They're going to keep printing money and self-interest and all this. until they're kind of all out, or the majority of them are all out. Again, this will probably happen in the next couple years. I mean, you've got obviously Biden, who is a dementia patient. You have Janet Yellen. You have, I mean, going down the list, you have so many politicians that are 70 or close to 80 years old. And again, I think they're just trying to take advantage of the market while they can, get out, retire, and then the market will crash and they can do it all over again. Just real quick before I continue moving on. So Bitget is having a kind of, so two things actually. Bitget is having a team trading competition. The prize is $5 million. I am going to create a team. I'll post it in my Discord. Anyone can join. To be fair with you, we've got a lot of decent traders in the Discord. I mean, if you're a terrible trader, I ask that you don't join, but I'm going to make a kind of public, anyone can join. You know, we'll see if our community is really good at trading. I will likely post stuff in the free part of the Discord, at least during that competition. Just keep your eyes out. Again, if you're not in my Discord, the majority of it's free. There's lots that we talk about every single day. But I will post a sign-up link for my team. And again, the prize is $5 million. And then the second thing, for any of you guys that use Bitget, if you use my link, or, you know, if you are interested in signing up, you can win a couple $100 if you break certain levels of trading liquidity or trading volume. And then there's a couple of like P&L things. And I also know that I think the main prize is a Rolex. I'm not sure. I need to double check. But just like a couple $100, you know, it's not huge, but it's something, just to kind of say thanks. Plus you also get 15% off fees for life. So if you're interested, check it out. Again, I will post the link for the trading competition, which I think is pretty cool. Again, I wanted to do it with the community. You see Ave go down to $100. I don't really follow Ave. I'll be real with you. I did, however, see Karate dump. What is it, like 90%? Yeah, I've seen this over the last couple weeks. I actually was going to buy this somewhere here. Ended up not. So I'm really, really glad I didn't. But might buy some soon. I don't know. Karate Combat is like, and I know I'm off topic of Ave, but Karate Combat is a legitimate company, right? You have Karate Combat, which is like the kind of like a lower grade UFC. I know BitBoy fought in it, so it is a legitimate company, you know, fighting league. Just kind of wild to see that kind of price fluctuation with such strength in the beginning. All right, let's keep moving on. So total. If it wasn't obvious, we have bullish divergences on total. Again, I don't think these count as bearish divergences. It's based off the closes. We also didn't create higher highs, so realistically, I think we're going to range. I think we're going to do something like this, and a lot of that stems from the 2020 May range. For those of you that don't know, we basically did absolutely nothing for like 3 months. Almost, I think it was almost 3 months. Let me pull out Bitcoin real quick. And I'll pull out the daily just to show you how boring and sad it was for several months. I mean, there really wasn't a trade to be made. This is what we did between May and July of 2020, right? It's kind of a slow period. It's the summer. A lot of people are getting off school, going on, school, work, whatever, nice weather. A lot of people go on vacations. Not a lot of people are trading as much. Very, very, very boring. Yeah. BitBoy did fight in Karate Combat, and I think he won. What's up, Dan? I'm doing great. Any thoughts on WIF? I don't trade meme coins. And nah, I wouldn't say I don't trade meme coins. I don't trade meme coins until alt season's here. I really don't care about all of these coins that may or may not be a gigantic rug pull in the end. Because you have to remember, if I'm going to trade something like that, I might put $100 grand into it, and I'm not in any place to just lose that. Like that would be painful. I don't need a lot of these meme coins, guys. The ones that do very well, and I'm just going to pull up a blank screen. So let's talk meme coins, right? Meme coins are a dime a dozen. I'd say 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000, you know, pump really hard. The other 99.99% literally do this, right? You go from 100 to 0, right? So I know there are some make money. Maybe they're a good project. Maybe they do stuff. Who knows? But I'm telling you, a lot of them are scams, and I just ultimately try and stay away from them because by the time they pump, it's too late. Imagine losing to that guy. So I really hate BitBoy with everything, but the guy he fought was also kind of a chode. And I'll give BitBoy this. Anyone that trains and steps into a ring in front of, in his case, thousands of people, because a lot of people watch the live stream, you got to give him a little bit of credit, right? I mean, look, I don't like him. I don't like who he is, but I'll give him an inkling of credit for showing up and fighting. Right? Again, I hate the guy. I think he's a total scammer and he's a LARP and he doesn't know what he's doing. And that's why he's lost his wife and lost his house and his Lamborghini and had to sell his watches and everything. Karma's catching up to him. But at the same time, he stepped in the ring. He got punched in the face a bunch. And, he didn't look that bad. Which altcoin to buy before it goes ballistic? Honestly, I think anything AI. And do your research, but realistically, anything AI. Let's keep moving on. So, tether dominance. On the weekly, guys, this is very solid. We actually have a breakdown, retest of prior resistance. Now acting as resistance once again. I would like to see this range and continue lower. Again, we have bearish divergences here, which is very, very bullish for crypto overall. The macro signs are still telling us that this range is overall bullish. Even if that means that Bitcoin retests 64 or 60K, that doesn't mean that this range is over or anything's necessarily wrong. We still have all these signs to be very, very bullish. Vision on gaming coins. I don't really follow the gaming coins. I'm not going to lie. I don't know a lot of solid gaming coins. I got into a bunch of AI coins like Fetch and ICP, Tau. Ajax. I think Ajax and Fetch are actually merging. So, and I that's becoming one a new coin. But if you see it here, other than just remove all of this. So if you see it on this list, I have it. I spread out. Right, I've got, obviously you guys know a big one of my bigger bags is Tau. I got a lot of Ethereum. I've got a lot of Bitcoin. I've got a lot of Link. Right, Link's my second biggest bag, I think. Bitcoin is actually my third, and that's just because Tau and Link went crazy already, did well, better than Bitcoin. And all the rest of these things, I got a couple $1,000 here and there. Overall, I put about $100,000 into the market. I'm up 1,000%. No, not 1,000%. I'm up 1,000% on some of my buys and stuff overall. I'm up 200 or 300% overall. So I'm doing pretty well so far. But I'd like to see it do better. And honestly, I'm not going to sell it until this weekly shows me more signs of bearishness or trend exhaustion, which I'm not really seeing at the moment. What about Crow? I have a bunch of Crow. Yeah, Crow looks good. I mean, as much as I want to go over every single alt in the book, we're not really in alt season yet. So again, I think a lot of you need to take a break from alts and really look at Ethereum right now or Bitcoin. Now, with that said, Bitcoin dominance looks pretty exhausted at the moment, but Bitcoin and Ethereum should still do well. What do I think about the macroeconomy? Some signs are good, others are bad, and lots of debt everywhere. I think the macroeconomy is fine. I think something eventually will crash, but you guys have to remember that the stock market is not dictated by retail or people that honestly don't have millions of dollars. I know that's a hard pill to swallow. But the people that are in charge are the people that have basically everything, so to speak. So I know people are like, oh, alt season is dictated by retail. okay, so you're telling me a retail investor with $1,000 is going to lift Ethereum or Link or Fetch or Matic, hundreds and hundreds of percent? Hell no. You need millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to do that, and that's not retail. So, you could say if everyone in the United States bought Matic, it'd go up. Yeah, you're probably right. But again, most of the retail that was in the market in 2021 was in here, right? I don't know. None of my friends, none of my family members were buying anywhere here and really weren't buying anything here. I had actually told people, start buying. We're breaking all-time highs. We broke. Still really, they're like, oh, it's at 40K, but it's probably done. And then it kept going up, and at 50K, they started buying. Right? That's how it always works. Retail buys the top. Retail gets the short end of the stick. Retail doesn't dictate price movement, if I'm going to be honest with you. So, okay, let's go over Bitcoin real quick. So, Bitcoin's weekly. Tough pill to swallow, but we still have bullish divergences. I think we range. I hate to say, like, oh, I called the inverted head and shoulders and now I'm wrong. Like, yeah, I was right on it. There was a nice little move. I would have expected it to go much higher. But honestly, it looks like we're going to consolidate more. And that's not a huge problem. We'd create more volatility if you open up Bollinger Bands. Our bottom band is still pretty low. So you continue consolidating, bring those two bands together again, form that volatility and go much higher. On the daily, couple things, and they haven't happened yet, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself or scare anybody. Remove all this crap. So a couple things on the daily. We did have the inverted head and shoulders. We originally called it out. Looks really solid. Broke that neckline here at, what is that, 67.4-ish? 67.2, 67.4. Now, again, the only real issue is we're not getting continuation. We're seeing low volume. Now, that's not to say we can't continue. So there is something I'm eyeing on the 4-hour, but if we lose this support, it's not the worst thing in the world, but we're probably going to see 64,000 or maybe 60K again. And again, that kind of leads into my theory that it's very likely that we continue consolidating, just like we did in May 2020. Larry Fink is max bidding, though. It's very interesting. But let's take a look at the 4-hour. So the 4-hour. So this is what I'm looking for, is support to hold. Maybe we get some kind of reversal pattern. I won't lie. I tried to take this one this morning. It looked pretty good, and wouldn't say it looked pretty good. It looked okay. It was a super low risk, so not like super concerning. But ended up getting stopped at. I think I lost like 0.3%, so not a big deal. But I would like to see a cleaner reversal as we kind of bounce off 67. Not to mention, and this is for some of you guys that might not be familiar with volume, if we go up and then come back down, so let's say on the way back down, I would like to see volume go low, right? I'd like to see volume go down, kind of price make this W or make this reversal, and then confirm it with lots of volume, right? On the way up, I would like to see volume start going up. That would be a great sign that not only are we going to break probably 70K again, but have a good chance to break 73K, which again is the much larger resistance that we need to break to really send to 90 or 100,000. Yeah, I agree. Good days are ahead. It's going to be slow and painful probably until July. And I hate to say that. I'd love for it to pump, and I'm ready for it, right? If we get the reversal, if we get a good trade set up, I'm in and I'm there. And I've always got my head on a swivel, but being realistic, I think mid-July, especially with the divergences from SPX. So if I were you guys, I wouldn't just go buying anything and everything. Wait for a solid setup. There's a good chance that we lose 67K. And, I hate to say it, but there's a decent chance that we hold and we can continue higher. You guys know it's crypto. Anything can happen. But my point is, don't take a trade that's not there. Like, don't just go in blind. Added to my Bitcoin long here, average entry is 60.3. That's a great entry to 64.8. Banking on it being a higher low, if not in profit. So what I would do if I were you is put your long at least in profit or break even. If you're right, you're scoring big. If you're wrong, at least you walk away without taking a loss. What up, Eddie? How's it going, man? Glad you're here. No Gala opinions. Again, I don't really have any opinions on alts until alt season starts, which could be a year from now. The only alts I'm really concerned about are Ethereum and Link. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. So here's the biggest thing for me. We have lost support. What is this, like 54% support? And again, been pointing this out for weeks if you've been a consistent viewer. We talked about all the exhaustion on RSI, MACD as we're making higher highs in price. We're making lower highs in RSI and MACD. We've also lost 54%, kind of made this double top as well. To my belief, we're about to have an alt summer. What that means is alts are going to outperform Bitcoin, whether that be to the upside or to the downside. Again, I think it's to the upside, obviously, because we had the Ethereum ETF. And another thing, guys, it's not going to be every alt full sending. Like I said, it's likely going to be your Ethereum, your Link, probably AI coins. Likely see Sol do pretty well because Sol has been doing pretty well. And then maybe some sleepers like ICP, Crow, because Crow's been doing okay. BNB, again, another one that'll likely do well. But a lot of these low caps and meme coins probably aren't going to do very well. So that's really all I got for Bitcoin dominance. Again, to kind of pair that with some, some confluence. You have bullish divergences, not only on MACD, but on RSI for Ethereum to Bitcoin. So you have the confluence for that quote-unquote alt summer, or at least some kind of alt move that should do better or perform better than Bitcoin ultimately. So again, my timeline, the start will probably be around mid-June to kind of early July. For those of you that follow timeline-wise, that's about the same time we started in 2020. Kind of odd that we're following a very similar timeline, but, it'd be really cool to see Ethereum do well. Also, more confluence. We had the Ethereum ETF get passed. Realistically, I thought that Ethereum would dump. I mean, it kind of is, right? Let's see how much we're down this week. I mean, we're down almost 7%. I think we dropped actually more than... Oh, we actually haven't. So we're down like 7% on Ethereum. The good thing is we're holding support, right? Previous resistance, turning it into new support. Creating bullish divergences, especially on this daily and on the 4-hour here. So as long as we hold... I'd say as long as we hold like 3,600, very, very solid for Ethereum. Again, if we start consolidating upwards, we're likely going to see a big move. So, originally I thought Ethereum's probably going to dump as it's a sell the news event. Now, granted, we kind of did. Dropped about 12%. But now we're kind of moving sideways, creating these bullish divergences. You can't marry an idea if the charts are showing something different. So we'll see if support holds. If it does, it makes a reversal pattern. I'm really interested in ETH. Right, I just showed you Bitcoin dominance is exhausting. Ethereum to Bitcoin looks very, very bullish. Why wouldn't you get into ETH? Lots of lows historically get put into mid-July, bro. Noticing it since 2017. Yeah, same thing. I mean, it's a weird kind of time frame, even with the stock market, with like SPX and everything. Yeah, especially during the bull cycle runs, for sure. So real quick, since you asked, I'll look at Gala. Again, I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about. We're not in alt season. We're just kind of ranging. Gala's been pretty boring. We're holding support, I guess. Like most altcoins are doing right now. Again, if it's not Ethereum, Link, Sol, or anything that's been performing very, very well, it's probably not going to do much until we get actual alt season. And again, actual alt season could be a year from now. It could be this summer. I'm not going to dismiss that idea, but again, I would like to see Bitcoin hit like 100 to 120K before a lot of liquidity comes into alts, personally. I actually gave my thoughts on the DXY earlier in the stream. Just go back, like 10, 15 minutes and go check it out. With all that said, guys, I'm going to end it there. Again, I apologize if I was a little slow today or my brain was working well. I have really bad allergies, so I'm just exhausted. Not exhausted, but fatigued a little bit. It's nothing major. It'll go away. It's just allergy season. Don't be concerned. With all that said, guys, be patient, use risk management, and I'll see you possibly Friday. Just depends. Actually, I probably won't see you Friday. It's a really nice day.